Yeah. Okay, it's going.
All right, there.
Showdown. Cool. How have you been?
And I've been good. I'm in downtown Toronto. Weather's beautiful.
Okay.
Bright and early. Sun is shining. No complaints.
I have a client in Toronto.
Whereabouts?
Yeah.
Are they downtown in the city core, or are they out in the?
No idea to be honest. I think they all work from home. Yeah. It's a small business called No BS Agency, founded by Pia Silva, and their CEO is based in Toronto.
Oh, that's cool. I think I've actually heard of that. I've seen it floating around on LinkedIn recently. It's actually probably through your network.
Yeah, probably. How did you find me?
You know what? That's a funny question. I've been popping through practically all of the clay influencer type of people that are like hanging out on LinkedIn, posting stuff for free.
Mm.
I just noticed you in one of the comments saying like, I like to work on cool projects, so send me a DM.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah. Yeah, I sent that to Brendan Short.
Yeah, exactly. I had to kind of piggyback on that. But
That was interesting. I sent one comment and like six people added me. I'm like, holy shit, now we're getting somewhere.
there's something there for sure. If you want to have unlimited first calls, that's how you do it, man. That's how you do it.
Cool. So how can I help you?
Okay, so the idea I've been working on is a deal origination engine. Like I mentioned to you, the core
Yeah.
of this entire project came from about a year and a half time spent as a deal originator for a job here in Toronto. To be straight with you, it's probably one of the most miserable jobs that I've ever worked, and I've done factory work. I've done everything, and this is probably one of the worst. Like door-to-door sales was easier than this. The reason why it's hard isn't because of like
That's what I wanted to say. I used to sell life insurance.
life insurance. Okay,
Yeah.
life insurance makes it harder. I've never done life insurance, but pulling teeth for sure. Make a little bit of.
I wasn't very successful at that.
Dude, it's hard. My girlfriend's sister, she's been doing it her entire career. She's a killer. But
There are people who just go with it.
Oh man, they go. I love to see it.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, you're good. You're good. ADHD brain.
Yeah.
So this whole world is basically run by ego. At the end of the day, you've got billions of dollars flying around, and you have guys like me getting paid thousands, if hundreds of thousands of dollars to source companies for different private equity firms all over the place. So I had clients mainly in the United States. There was two of them. They were both billion-dollar private equity funds, and by a variety of businesses. Some were very like pool companies, like literally companies that clean and manage pools. They were buying them, and they were paying millions. And then all the way up to a billion-dollar private equity, a billion-dollar healthcare firm that was looking to spin out one of their divisions as basically like a separate entity, and they wanted to sell that off to basically the highest bidder. So you got guys like me who I got a research team. My research team gets a list of business owners. They go through and enrich that list with contact information. That contact information then usually comes straight to me into Salesforce, and I plug it into Outreach using some templates. I personalize the message, send it. If it's a particularly great lead, what I'll do is I'll basically cyberstalk them. So check them out on LinkedIn, go through their websites,
Classic,
all that fun stuff. And then I'll write a message that's really unique. So it'll be something like I had been interacting with the Dodo news page online my entire life, and I had no idea that you were the man behind it. That was a message and turned it. So like these are the types of things that are really important to get right, and it's about context. So the reason why I'm here is because with the bludgeoning that comes with this type of job, context is something that our brains are not wired for. During that stress, our ability to perceive the world shrinks to a very tight and narrow vision. And it's the reason why you have to do 100 plus emails a day or 100 calls a day. It's because you can't genuinely connect with people. So you have to find somebody that's basically just willing to go along with it. All of that. I want to the exact opposite way. And I think that we can do it without spending millions of dollars per year on ridiculous sales teams and overpaid executives and all that fun stuff.
It's so interesting because what you're describing is basically a classic outbound sales process, but you're not selling, you're buying.
Exactly.
Okay. So, that makes sense why you were looking at the conversation with Brendan, who was trying to figure out the same thing, but for outbound sales.
Exactly.
So, just as in outbound sales, there are a bunch of buying signals or intent signals that we would be looking at. I would assume that there are some signals that you would be looking at for companies or founders potentially selling their company. Like
Indeed.
what are those in general?
So if we were to take a look at software companies specifically, one of the things I've noticed is they'll have a pretty aggressive cost-cutting measure before they're getting ready for major transition. It usually comes with vendor complaints. So if you go and you look at the Better Business Bureau and it's like full of this guy like never paid his bills recently, it usually means that they're trying to like wind up some of the loose ends. And then one of the more telling signs, the one that's traditionally there, is you go and you take a look at their headcount hiring. So if they have they just hired like 5 developers and they're showing up on their LinkedIn for the first time and they're overseas, you can bet your ass that they're going to be working on a new project here shortly. And if it's not getting ready to launch, it's, at least on their mind that it's going to be coming into the market hopefully within the next year. So we reach them ahead of time and we would say like, we're looking to chat with groups that are hopefully bringing some new and exciting stuff to the market. Here's what we're kind of interested in, and obviously aligned with what we think that they're building. And to see if they're open to having a conversation of partnership, working together in a transaction. And that's how we would use those types of signals.
Okay.
There's a lot more.
I would assume there are a lot more than that. Okay. So what types of businesses would you say are the best targets for you personally? Like, I'm starting from the point that we are trying to kind of productify your expertise with an AI agent somehow. So instead of trying to cover everything, what is your zone of genius?
So I need to find owners of chiropractic care clinics.
Okay, that's specific.
Yeah. The reason why is because, my back is like permanently fucked, so I can like talk about it for forever.
Me too. Yeah.
Scoliosis or regular?
No, I'm just 6'5".
Oh, yeah, Paul.
The word was not designed for me.
100%, man. I feel like I kind of got lucky because I'm only like 5'8", but at the same time, my spine's curved like a pretzel.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time with those guys, and a few are genuine G's. And the reason why is they have an entire approach that is just completely different. And when they go to solve problems, they really do solve them. They don't just treat them. So yeah, I think that there could be an option if I were to focus on something. Try and connect with owner operators of clinics that have around like 10 to 15 staff total with like 2 or 3 physicians or RMTs, whatever it is, on staff. That I know are kind of, well into their career. So the clinic has been operating for, at least 5, probably 10 plus years. And then it's been in the same location for that duration as well. These types of indicators show me longevity, staying power, and then that suggests the operator might be stable. So when I get into the back of that business and I see it's, one operator or maybe 2 operators have owned it for its duration, that's whenever I start to realize like, okay, this is a clinic that's probably owned by either a family or a small group of, colleagues. Because its ability to operate, it's developed quite a brand in the local area, and I would be surprised if they're in a hard position for cash. So if they don't have any issues with cash, then it becomes really difficult for you to say like, hey, why don't we buy your business? So then what the question comes is how do we find a group that is looking to do a transaction, not to get the owner rich, but to grow a much larger, more impactful business. So that's kind of the person that I'm looking for. It's somebody that, one, has a successful operation, but doesn't really know what they're going to do with it, and is probably going to be in the game for like another 15, 20 years. 2, that person is just swamped to the point where they should be hiring or expanding, but realistically, they just can't go through the necessary steps to get a new facility or get a new team or equipment or whatever it is. And then the third one is they have to be at least accessible online. So some of these business owners, the doctors specifically, they make it impossible for us to contact them. And those guys, even if you do contact them, you don't really want to talk to them because they fucking be for a reason. That's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of a specific example. I wouldn't necessarily say that these clinics are the ticket. They're just the simplest thing that comes to mind. There are 2 other ideas that I had working on as well.
Yeah, I think we would need to probably start with the simplest one, get the lowest hanging fruit, and then you can just build layers on top of it as you validate more aspects of the product, which means that the first iteration of the product will look completely different from what the product will actually look like, let's say 6 months or a year from now. This is something that I find a lot of product founders mess up in the beginning, that, hey, I want to build this product and not that product. So when I say, hey, why don't we build an agent that can find all the relevant chiropractor or practice owners and enrich their data, and then kind of create that profile of them ready for outreach, find some kind of signals, and then test if we are actually able to reach out to them and establish a connection, because the first step is going to be the number of successful connections made, as in there is a two-way communication happening. And once we have that product, we can use the learnings and maybe even the proceeds from that product to build another one and another one and another one. So, and as I'm just thinking about this, we might just build something first that we hard code your criteria in, but then we actually turn that into an input field, and then any marketing agency owner can use that. And then you basically make some money from a completely different tangential market to come back and keep building on your original use case.
That's the exact idea that I'm working on here.
Okay.
The marketers, in your example, are actually just private equity guys. So the fun part about this whole thing is there's a lot of guys that are out there buying these firms. So what is one man's trash is often another man's treasure, and they're willing to pay for those intros. So I can get paid anywhere between $100 for a business that's worth less than $1 million, all the way up to well over 1,000 for the companies that are touching, towards the 50 million mark, assuming that they're actually profitable. But if those companies do decide to take those intros, it's just as easy as saying, hey, I know we talked in the past. Are you willing to meet somebody new? And then making that connection. That's just kind of a side separate project. It is possible if we can successfully get this moving. But chiropractics or chemical tolling businesses, I think, would be another really easy one to do.
Interesting.
Because I have industrial connections that buy these businesses right now. They're also so roll-ups, the strategy in private equity where they take a bunch of really small businesses and then turn them into one distributed or decentralized organization that is served by one central logistics hub. Those types of businesses, they can actually be very well identified ahead of time of the ones that they're going to be interested in, because you find where the private equity firm has their logistics hubs, and then you just look at every single business that would be served by them in a concentric circle around there. Really easy way to do it.
Okay. So our first job is to somehow build a database of potential companies.
Yes.
Just like in any other sales scenario. So which one do you want to start with? Which category?
Let's do chemicals, because I feel like it's going to be easier than Cairo.
You feel like it's going to be, okay, let's do.
I'd be interested to see your opinion here. Just a feeling.
It doesn't matter.
All right. Chemicals.
Yeah, I have zero exposure to this market, both to private equity and to chemicals. So my opinion is as uneducated as possible.
Understood.
Okay, so chemicals. So how do we find these companies? How would you go about it right now manually?
So Google search is pretty much where everything's building lists by hand into a Google Doc was the way that it was originally done. When the research team got built, they started to use a system. It's called Growth Genius. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of them. I'm pretty sure they're almost out of business now, but they basically are an aggregator of business-related information from all over the place.
You would be surprised. There are actually quite a lot of companies called Growth Genius.
Of course there is. Yeah, no, the one that I'm looking for is out of business. Shit. But that's always fun. Actually, I'm pretty sure they must have invested. Anyways, whatever. So they use tools like that are basically just aggregators from data providers like Apollo to pull into a central database, and then they enrich that central database. So
could we use Apollo for this?
Yeah, we can. Or actually, if we're doing chemicals, maybe we shouldn't, because I remember I had about a 70% failed contact rate from Apollo contact chemical companies. So the issue that I found with Apollo for chemical companies is I would find the name and the number on the website itself to contact people, but it wouldn't be in any of the contact databases. And I'm wondering if there's a way for us to fix Oh, not really, because then we'd have to look at each individual website, right?
And why is that a problem?
Well, is it a problem? Because from a resourcing perspective, I figured it would be quite expensive.
Not anymore. Anthropic just came out with computer use 2 or 3 days ago.
Oh, fuck, yeah, I just saw that too. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, like the whole RPA market is being fucked right now by Anthropic. So we can literally just build an agent that takes all the input data from whatever you get from Apollo and then pushes it over to an Anthropic instance, like in a container, and then just browse it and extract all the information out from it. And that's it.
That's smart. I was looking into headless browsing previously, but my technical skills and abilities were limited.
So I actually tried it out this morning. I didn't have too much time to play around with it, but I did check it. So give me a website. Give me any website.
Okay, let's take a look at Ascent Chemicals. I'll send you.
Send it to me over chat. I think there is a there is a. There you go.
Like this is a company that we are one of our clients acquired.
Okay, so actually, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna share this screen. So I have this open and studio chat. This is the one. Oh, where did you send the URL?
There should be a chat bar.
Found it. Yeah, found it.
It says uploading. Oh, never mind. That's recording.
That's the recording. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here we are. So what is the information we are trying to find in here?
Okay. So first thing that I go to is the about in the top header there. I drop down who we are.
Mm-hmm.
It should be in here somewhere. Mission, vision, values. Don't really care about any of that. There they are. Founders. So these are typically the fellas that I'm looking for. VP sales, development managers, VP operations.
Okay.
Prefer to go for C-suite. So CEOs or like owners is really the only leads that will be effective. Not all of these businesses are going to have that publicly on their website, but there might be some registration documents that we can pull to collect that information, or it might actually be on Apollo itself, probably.
Okay. So this is kind of like the holy grail of sales and data enrichment, because I think every time that I talk to somebody, this is probably one of the most time-consuming things that just looking up websites again and again. And there was this thing called AutoGPT a year and a half ago that I was trying out. And AutoGPT was working locally, but it was unstable. So here I am in Replit, and when I search for Anthropic, as I said, when I search for Anthropic, there is the computer use bit here. So all I got to do is, I'm on a free Replit plan, right? So it's not very, whatever. Okay. So what I need to do, and this you can do yourself, is you just scroll here down to secrets and copy and paste your Anthropic API key. So you just need to register an Anthropic generated API and add it here as a secret. So I have this other setup that already has an API key, so we can skip that. And then all I need to do is just run. And when I run this is not running in my computer. This is running in a virtual machine that is basically running a Firefox instance. So here's the web view where I can interact with the Claude computer use. And here's going to be the output. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, go to this website and find the people working there, VP or C-suite level, preferably. Now, in most cases, you will find them in the team or about section or something similar. Return a list of people with their titles back to me in a table format. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is going to work, but let's see. So what it's doing, if I go to the output, this should be working. There you go. So now it's taking screenshots, and I have no idea if this is going to work, but let's see. So this is now trying to go to the website. Now it opened the website. So one of the things that makes this work is that it basically creates a screen of 1024 by 768 pixels. And now it basically gives me coordinates on where to find the information that it is looking for. So let's see if it's going to find what we need or if it's going to get stuck somewhere. Oh, look at that. So it went to the menu, left click.
In terms of speed, like, is all this happening live or like, is it?
Yeah, this is live. Again, this is one of the things that's not, oops, something happened. It's not very fast.
Yeah.
Look at this. Now it went to a specific website and then it started downloading all the information it could get from the website. So I want it to go to the who we are section. I don't know if it's
you get all of the about us pages or like feed it the specific URL. Yeah.
So when you would do a scraper, that's how you would do it. You would just, configure the scraper where to look specifically. If everything is different, then you would create some kind of regular expression. The problem is the fuzzy logic, right? Humans apply fuzzy logic when they design websites. So sometimes it's going to be themes. Sometimes it's going to be who we are. Sometimes it's going to be about or something else. And looks like it's stuck. And this is, again, another issue that I found with AutoGPT 18 months ago, that it actually gets stuck pretty easily. So what I'm going to do now, because it looks like it's kind of looping right now, is I'm going to refresh the connection. Now we're here, so we can actually see what's happening. So now it's stuck here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reset there and stop and try it again. Because basically, I think that with the right kind of configuration, right kind of error handling, we can easily set this up to be some kind of universal scraper.
Yep.
For now, what you would use is just simple web scraping, or you could use something like a robotic process automation, like UiPath.
Yes.
Have you used that before?
So I haven't used UiPath specifically. It was a suggestion. I was originally trying to do was essentially bot that crawls through each web page and takes a screenshot and then transforms the words in the screenshot into a report. I kept on failing because I was trying to build it using Perplexity. So yeah,
Perplexity does search really well.
Yeah. It was just sorry. So the Perplexity GPTs, if you want to call them, that are preloaded, those were pretty good. That can search through and create company reports. What I was trying to do is I was trying to use Perplexity to build the code that would get a lot more specific with it. Just as I started to notice, the Perplexity stuff starts to hallucinate a fair bit.
So can you do another interesting thing would be to use Perplexity search to build sort of an outline of the website and then use that for some kind of robotic scraping.
What do you mean by outline of the website? Like in terms of, so this is the information that we're looking to get from the website, or this is what you should expect to see when the robotic search goes to the website?
To understand where the information is that we're looking for. So for example, can I use Perplexity to say, hey, where can I find the team members on this website? And then it goes to the website and says, you need to go to about and then who we are. And that's the page that you want to look at. That's where you're going to find these names. And then even if they don't, even if Perplexity doesn't actually look at the data itself, it gives you the structure. And then you do it again and say, hey, go to this part of the website and return these names for me. So instead of doing it one step, you do it in 2 steps.
So in that way, I guess you're almost, and maybe this is ignorant, but you're kind of like taking a look at the sitemap and then using the sitemap as the guide almost. Is that?
Yeah. In the meantime, we found 2 people. So Alex Fiedler just fell out of the roster for some reason, but it did find, oh, there you go. It looks like that. And Alex, we didn't get Alex because there was some
he's a
encoding issues.
So that makes sense.
but it did find it.
Yeah.
So I did prompt it a little bit differently, but what it tells me is that I could very likely use this scraping method if it's properly configured. I could probably use this to generate the relevant data that you need, but this is something that's within the realm of performance through inference, and that's opposed to performance through training. And I that's one of the concepts that will help you understand how these models work right now, because GPT-4 was a lot better than GPT 3.5 because it had more training. So inference was cheap. Now it needs...
Yeah. I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to make sure for inference, it's taking what it sees based on what it's been trained on and then attempting to guess what it's...
Yeah, it's just autocomplete. It's just a very like next token prediction.
Perfect.
So right, so you can use transformers next token prediction method to generate thoughts, basically through prompting, right? And then, but it doesn't act on anything. So what OpenAI did with the O1 model is that it started creating these prompt chains, what LangChain did a couple years ago, where you send the model a prompt and that creates a response, and then that model actually prompts a different model, and then it just goes through a chain of daisies, and then at the end it comes back to you with a well thought out response. It's not actually using logic, but it is simulating logic really well. So, as one of my physicist friends used to say, correlation does not imply causality, but 80% of the time you can get away with it. Yeah. And so here is the...
It's true.
It's true. Yeah. So here is the challenge. You can improve the performance of the model through sending more prompts, but then basically you're spending more on your resources, right? So in this way, when you're using computer use of Anthropic, you're not just using the large language model, you're using the large language model and an OCR and a web scraping. So it's like acting, not just thinking.
Yeah.
But that also means that it's acting through multiple steps of thought, which means that the more steps becomes more expensive. So in order for you to make this product very economical, you need to understand what the process is that you want to use this for, and use this only as a last resort. Let's see how we can pre-process the data, because the better the data quality is, the better the model use is going to be, the more efficient the model use is going to be. So this is why I asked you, hey, how do you do this manually? Because once I understand that we can generate a list of leads, generate some database through Apollo or even a third-party source, and we can verify some of that using traditional software, then we can actually limit how we're going to use the large language model, how we're going to use the computer use model, how we're going to use the O1 model, and that is going to keep your per lead cost at a minimum, because this can rack up really quickly.
I was about to say, with this Anthropic headless browsing OCR feature, do you have any idea in terms of cost? It must be like way up there.
So apart from this one, let's just check it. Apart from this one, I ran it for like 2 more times today, I think.
If it's like $10, I won't be surprised.
Yeah, okay, let's see. So start building and see. Okay, so where usage? Is there like logs? Oh, usage, there you go. Okay, so today it's a lot of tokens.
That's a lot of tokens. Something really went wrong.
So that means that all in all, so running this once, used up about 100,000 tokens, and that's a lot. That's the number of tokens in, right? Because it gave us back the entire web page multiple times, right? Yeah. And then the actual tokens out is not that much. So today I used 500,000. About a quarter of that is going to be what we just used a couple minutes ago. Yeah. But if you look at that, if you look at Anthropic pricing, so it uses 3.5 Sonnet. So prompt output $15 per million tokens.
Yeah.
And currently, we paid basically 50 cents.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Because for 500,000 tokens, we would be paying 7.5, but this is output. For 500,000 tokens input, we are paying 1.5. And there are a couple thousand that we paid.
Okay, I understand it now.
Yeah. And if you look at the billing part, so I just uploaded or added $25 to this balance.
Yep.
And it's a $1.5. That was the, so if you wanna actually calculate the real one, right? Then so we're gonna say it's about 1/4 of that. So we paid about 40 cents per lead. Is that economical or is that not?
I mean, no, because you're talking about like a lot of leads. There's a lot of leads. So
yeah. So this is why I would probably do something like download the website. We could just scrape the website a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Just scrape all the websites, and then we could use something like GPT-4o Mini.
Yeah.
To say, hey, here is the website. Can you figure out where the fuck is the team data? Because right, because if you look at the GPT-4o Mini pricing, that's exactly built for this kind of at scale stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Look at that. 15 cents for 1 million input tokens. Right? It's crazy. And you can even batch that.
Yeah.
And if we batch it, it's even half of that. So it's going to be peanuts. It's like 20 times, 40 times cheaper than this is. It's going to be 1 cent per lead.
In terms of turnover time, could I do this like live on call? Could I be generating this list while chatting with the private equity people? Or is that's
interesting. How many companies would you want to process while you're chatting with them? 10.
I can't give them a whole list because they'll just take it. Fucking opportunists. But giving them like 5 to 10 businesses and just saying like, hey, are any of these familiar to you? Have you gotten a hold of any of them? Do you want to get a hold of any of these?
Okay.
Those are the sort of questions.
So I would probably use something like some kind of web scraping bot to just pull the data, or just build this is classic scraping. And I'm really glad that we're looking at this use case, because Anthropic just built a universal scraper, but it's going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
If you want to use it in production for business purposes. So would you start with a list of companies or list of websites?
So that was, a viable alternative. I could go to these guys ahead of time and give them the idea. You give me a list, I'll give you contacts. Really put outside of that though.
So one thing that we could do is that if you have a website list, I'm going to assume to start from there, because I think we can figure out how to get a list of websites after that.
It's not hard.
But basically, get a website list, scrape all of those, and then send it to GPT-4o Mini to figure out how it works. So I'm just going to try to see on make.com. Do you know this stuff?
To be honest, I've heard of it, but I'm not too familiar with any of it.
It's just Lego for nerds. Yeah. It's like Lego where you can build software with it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
man, I can't be making my brain learn Python and all that stuff.
You don't have to. There is also Cursor, which is even better.
Woo!
So Scrape Ninja scrapes a target website, non-JavaScript, high-performance, written raw HTML or JSON, or real browser, scrapes the target website, full-fledged real Chrome instance, evaluates target website, and JSS. Okay, so let's see what do we have with Scrape Ninja. So this is usually when I start, because if you look at, hey, run, where is the website? There's the website. Okay, so if I can do this here, I can do this in Make. So I'm just going to do this here. I don't know if I need to set up anything else. And let's see what else we got. It actually put everything into unescaped target website response. Okay, this is the website that we needed. And look at that.
Yes, if we find him, we found his picture for sure.
It's something.
Something. It looks like it's maybe some pixel or something from the before 4x. They changed their website last year, but I'm pretty sure the way that they did it was just like painting over the last coat of paint type of thing. So
okay, so let's see if we can. Okay, this is gonna be my favorite. It worked.
Holy shit!
It worked.
That has never worked for me before.
I mean, okay.
Why did it work?
I don't know. It shouldn't have. Anyway, so now what I can take a look at is I can just download this one and I can just do 2 instances. One, like, go to this one and then page sitemap. So what we could do is like a multi-step thing, but I don't like it because it needs us to kind of hard code things.
If we can do it simple, because
yeah,
not gonna lie, if I get on call.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so look at this. I'm just gonna try to check ChatGPT Mini for this. Let's see if is this gonna be too long. It's too long. Okay. No, that's fine. So I can just take. So one thing that we could do is basically scrape everything here, then run a script that says extract all URLs from this. And then once I have the URLs, I need to figure out which one is the one that we're looking for. In this case, the who we are one. So, and then if we do the scraping again, was here, and then, and now we got the people here. So, right. So now all I need to do is, let's see if this is too long. Okay. So instead of for Mini, we can just say, you know, fuck it. Let's just use Gemini, because Gemini has an incredibly long context window. So first I'm like, extract all the names, titles, and a 1-sentence brief summary of who they are, if applicable, from this data. I want to know the people working there. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Oops. Hold on. Sent it by accident. Okay. Run the prompt. So this now has a 2 million token context window. This is 234,000. So this would never fly with GPT. Okay. It does take quite some time to get the info. Mm-hmm. So now what I'm interested, where did it find Robert Atkins? Because we didn't have Robert Atkins, did we?
So I believe Robert Atkins Jr. was the...
Oh, there you go. We have a quote from him here. And it just extracted the info from the quote.
Cool.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, well, I guess if it's not a picture, well, even if it is a picture, no, not through this, not through Scrape Ninja. Okay. Yeah.
No, but it's fine because look, so now what we can do is we can just scrape this. And okay, so now I have the actual website, and I'm going to say, create a new prompt, and I'm going to say, find me the URL that can, or that might contain information about the team. You're looking at something like team, or about us, or who we are, or something similar. Only return the URL and nothing else. Wait, 1 second.
Yeah, I don't know if it's shift enter or just enter, but they seem to change.
I always, yeah, they changed this.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. I blog on Substack.
Yeah.
And they just changed it on the notes.
Yeah. Oh.
And yeah, so when I publish notes, and then I was using shift enter versus enter,
yeah,
for paragraph breaks, and then I started looking around with talking with people on Substack, and then there was like a very significant amount of people being very annoyed at this. Look at what it just found us.
Ooh, it worked. It took 26.
It worked. Yeah. So you can actually do this.
Yeah.
You can actually do this live if you want to, because now what we can do is all I need to do is just register to Scrape Ninja somehow. What's the pricing here? Okay. Give me 1 second.
Just enable request 10,000 per month. That's all. More.
Okay. So I think this is going to be enough for us.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Do we have an API access here? We're just going to log in with GitHub and start free plan. I want to show you how this can work with the API. So it just generated an API key for me here, right? So what we're going to want to find is, there you go. Here's the API key. Okay. So I go back to make, create a connection, and just enter this here. And it creates a connection to make. So now I don't need to deal with any of that coding shit. I can just build that thing here. Look, URL of the target website. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this here and say, here's the target website. And then if I want to, I can reference a Google spreadsheet even, right? So here is the target website. And then it's just going to give me whatever I need. Let's see if this works or if I forgot to set up something.
I'm just topping on a work call. Anticipation now. Got me excited.
Yeah. Done.
So this stuff is really cool, man, because honest to God, I can record just a video of myself on Loom doing this live, generating, fiber instances and just saying like, hey guys, this is what I can do in 2 minutes. If you guys have a list already, let's see what we can do. 20. Because that's what these guys are really struggling with. It's usually a small team of 3 to 5 people, and they all hate sales. So they can do the outreach, but they won't do the phone calls, that's for sure. And emails are dog shit because they're saying like, hey, we've been in business for 100 years and we got $1 bajillion. Do you want some $1 bajillion? It's like, no, we're profitable, growing EV. But yeah, I don't know.
So what I want to show you now, I'm going to stop this and try it again with a different module that's just going to simply extract the info for us. Let me just create a new scenario. Seems like whole make is like being slow. Did we break make.com?
Actually.
Okay, so this should be just a simple scrape. Should complete faster because once it returns the website link for us, I can just run the scraper with the website link. It returns the URL that I'm looking for inside the website. Then I run the scraper on that specific page, and then I send it again to Gemini, extract the names, and then I can save it to a Google Sheet. So what we can actually create is a simple Google Sheet where you enter the website address, and then in a couple minutes, the list of names just show up.
That would be huge.
Automatically. We can build that.
Yeah, because it would be the thing that like I show up to on the live calls where it's like, hey, does this look like a blank sheet? Why don't you turn it into a leads list in 10 seconds flat? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just stupid little magic tricks like that will have them just...
Okay, I'm going to need to play around with this Scrape Ninja thing because it's awfully slow, but I'm on the free plan, so it might be because of that. But what I'm going to do is, and also Make is having some issues today, but basically what you will end up seeing is, damn, I want to just show this. Scrape Google Gemini, scrape Google Gemini, Google Sheet. That's what we're trying to build.
I got it.
And that's what you need. Like, that's the first thing. Yeah, so then you add Gemini. Damn, this is very slow.
That's okay.
But anyway, you get the picture.
How's your internet? I know in Europe it's a little bit better than Canada, but...
It is actually pretty good, so I have no idea what's going on.
Good, man. A free plan. They probably have throttling on. Too many
There you
people
go.
jump on.
Yeah, probably. So this is how this is going to look like, right? So I just add this together. It's this simple, right? Here, all I'm going to do is I'm just selecting the model 1.5 Pro, and in the message part, I'm just going to say, here's a text message. Look, basically, I can just take this target website row response. This is the info that we get, and I just give this here. And where was it? Oh no, I exited that. So I just add the prompt here and say, extract the URL that might contain info on the team members, something like team or about us or who we are, similar, only the URL. Right. So once I have this, then I can just take this here and the URL of the target website. I'm just going to say, use the field of this output as the input of this field. And then again, in here, I'm going to select 1.5 Pro user text message, and the text is going to be the target row response. And then I'm just saying extract all the names, titles, and draft a one sentence summary of who they are and what they are responsible for. And then if I want to even sophisticate this, return this in a JSON format. Are you familiar with JSON?
No, I understand it's good for data piping, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's basically what we want is just to make sure that, I don't know where I need to set this. Generation configurations. Anyway, so once I have this, I just parse it into JSON like this.
Word.
And I would need to set this up, but then basically I can just add the row. Well, I would need an iterator because I will have multiple people here. So I add an iterator here. So here's what this does. Gemini returns a bunch of names with a bunch of titles and a bunch of descriptions. This turns it into a structured data format. So instead of just a raw text, it's something that the computers can understand.
Right.
I need to figure out how to create the data structure. But basically, what I'm going to do is just open ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT, hey, this is the kind of information I'm getting. Create a sample JSON text for me. I copy and paste it in here, and it just generates the JSON for me. Once it's in that format, I use an iterator to basically say every name in that list should be its own separate job, right? It's like, and then, so if there are 3 names on here, from one job, this creates 3 jobs. And then I'm like, add this as a row, right? To the specific spreadsheet. And at the end of it, what happens is that I run this thing, right? Where I added the URL of the target website. And then when I run it, it runs the whole process. You don't need to do anything. And at the end, shows up the right piece of information that we just wanted to extract, shows up in your Google Sheet. We just built an app without coding.
That's pretty cool.
And the good thing about this kind of logic is that you can just set temperature to 0 for all the models, which means that it's never going to hallucinate.
Yeah.
Because the variability of the responses is 0.
That's really what's important here is I don't want them to bring back, here's the CEO of the company, and it's like Dan Fleming, but the real it's Flan Deming, you know what I mean? Like, other way around. Like, you know what I mean? Like, trust me, dude, I've seen it before. I've had people reach out to me thinking that they can acquire my business, and it's because I ran a startup in school, and they're like, yeah, Jacob or Elliot. It's like, fuck, here we go. Personalization, but still, anyway.
Cool. Let me play around with this and share the output of this once I've had some time.
Yep.
Have you joined my Discord server?
I'm Vendetta 96.
You're Vendetta 96. We've been having a great conversation today.
Of course.
Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna share it here.
Of course. I would appreciate that, man. In terms of, like, obviously, I don't want to see you just like working on this and burning cash. At the same time, I can't tell you that I can like pay you to put all of this together. So how can I make sure that you are made whole by working on this with me?
We'll figure it out. I don't know yet. It's literally, I don't have a model for this yet.
No, that's all good with me, because if this works, like, all I'm trying to make right now, to be straight with you, is like $3,000 a month to cover my life, and then everything else is gravy. So
yeah, right now I'm just trying to build good karma with people, and then when an opportunity comes, I can bank on it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. I'm one step behind you, but I appreciate you jumping on the open. By the way, I took a look through your blog. Sorry to hear about your grandfather. He seemed like quite a remarkable man, and part of a generation where skills and knowledge was a incredibly valuable part of society. So glad that he brought that forward, and I'm glad that you're carrying the torch. So thank you for your time, man. Seriously.
Would you mind if I uploaded an edited version of this to YouTube?
Yeah, no, that's no problem. Just if you could make my face a little less pale. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm still learning color grading, but I'm going to do my best.
No, you're all good, man. You're all good. Break it down and do whatever you need to do. And
cool.
Yeah, if we see some really great stuff here, I can outreach tomorrow. I've got 3 people that are waiting for this tool, and they're all willing to pay so one girl, she said that she's willing to pay $5,000 a month, but what they actually pay is probably somewhere between like 1 and 5.
Yeah. Okay. Let me know how it goes. Stay in touch. You can always find me on Discord.
Thanks, David.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.